Welcome, everyone. My name is Lawrence Wasson, and today I'm going to be giving a presentation entitled Understanding Care. I developed this presentation based off the fact that most of humanity has no clue what it means to truly care. Thank you for being here, and let's jump right in. It's time to start caring right now. It's been time to start caring. What is care? So we're first going to define what care is. We're going to go into the dictionary definitions of care, the modern day dictionary definitions of care, and then what true care is. So modern definitions of care. Noun, the provision of what is necessary for the health, welfare, maintenance, and protection of someone or something. Serious attention or consideration applied to doing something correctly or to avoid damage or risk. Verb, feel concern or interest, attach importance to something, like or be willing to do or have something. These definitions were most applicable to what true care actually implies. These were last on the list in the noun section of the definition of care in the modern day dictionary. The first was like mental suffering, grieving, and that's not what true care is. That's not the version of care that I'm speaking about in this presentation. The word care derives from Old English, karu, kiru, sorrow, anxiety, grief. Also, burdens of the mind, serious mental attention. Now here's the definition of true care. To understand, live in alignment with, and serve the truth. That's true care right there. Living in accordance to the laws of nature. These go hand in hand. They are interchangeable. You can't have one without the other. If you're living in accordance with natural law, you understand, live in alignment with, and serve truth. That's just the way it works. To understand what a right is and what a wrong is. To be conscious of one's own and others' existence, and to love oneself and others. That's to truly care. If you don't know what truth is, if you're not in alignment with truth, if you don't live in truth and serve truth, you most likely do not express true care at all. I would say 99.99999% of humanity does not express true care because they don't know who they are. They don't know truth, so they don't know love, because love and truth are one. You can't have truth without love, or care. You can't have care without love. True care is true love. It's seeing yourself in another. It's being able to understand that you're not separate from anything. This inherent truth is the basis and the backbone to what true care is. To understand you're not separate. To understand that you are one with everything and everyone. And to understand natural law. To understand that everything that you do has an effect on your environment. Not only yourself, but your environment. We're going to get into more of this throughout this presentation. Khalil Gibran said, "You give but little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give," and how right that is. This world is nothing how we think it is. We are not who we think we are. Virtually everything we have been told about reality has been a lie to deceive us. We grow up with authority figures telling us that we must conform. Endless people, books, magazines, religions, TV shows, movies, news channels, websites, and social media posts, overt and covertly telling us how to live our lives, to not question and to go with the flow. Blend into the herd. This has been the mass program running for centuries in all different forms. The program which says, "You have no power." That's the program. That is the message that the control system has been emitting for centuries. You have no power. Give yourself away to us. We know what's right for you. We know what's right for humanity. We know what's right for the world. We are the rulers of this world. We are the gods of this world. Governments, organized religions, most institutions, educational institutions, any types of authority figures, individuals who think they have the right to rule over people. The number one biggest program that's been running is the program which says you have no power. So, we must start caring enough to, if we are to integrate true care, true love, authenticity, and embody truth, we must start caring enough to ask real questions and take in real knowledge. Think for ourselves and not allow others to do our thinking for us. Really want to understand what it means to grow and to evolve. Integrate authenticity as opposed to playing pretend. Let go of false belief systems and thwarting mental conditioning. We must start caring enough to start creating a world of freedom and stop creating a world of slavery, which is the world that we're currently creating, we have been creating for a while now. We must start caring about ourselves, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, and physically. The full spectrum care, not just physically, not just emotionally, and not just spiritually. You have to have full embodied, versatile care about oneself, about yourself. That's true love. It's not just caring about yourself a little bit. That's a low-level care. I call that incomplete care. It's to care about yourself in just one aspect. You have to care about yourself on all aspects. Truly care. Diving deep into yourself. Diving deep into your shadows. You must start caring about life, the planet, the universe, and our place in it. Our purpose. Asking questions like, why did I come here? Why am I here? Why is this happening to me? What's happening? What's going on? We have to ask the hard questions to reveal the truth inside of us. The truth is only revealed to those who are willing to see. Humanity as a collective, we're all connected. We have to start caring about our fellow man and woman. And we must start caring about, ultimately, freedom and truth. The most important dynamics to care about in this world. Freedom and truth. And I'd say when you start truly caring about yourself, this is an automatic process. You start caring about freedom and truth. It's intertwined with caring about yourself. It's intertwined with caring about your purpose and why you're here, and us as a collective, humanity as a collective species, as one unit. And this picture over here says, answers. Everyone's going down the simple but wrong path. Where are you going, everybody? Where are you going? This is the true way. You know, why are you all going off the cliff? Oh, because it's easy. We don't have to think about it. That's the response. Or the government told us to. The government said that this is the right way to go. My president said that this is the way to go. The leader of my country, my mom. You know, I don't have any right to tell myself what I should do with my own life because you've been trained to conform your whole life. But this is the right way. Complex but right. You notice there's two people on this path. In the beginning, there's a bookshelf because we got to read. We got to read books. There's no way around this. You'll get by for a little bit, maybe, perhaps, watching videos, documentaries, listening to podcasts. But to go all the way, we have to start picking up books. Reading books is like communicating with individuals who once lived. So we got to pick up books and read. So we have to look at ourselves. We have to dive into ourselves. We have to watch our thoughts. We have to watch our behaviors. We have to watch the way we act, the way we behave, our own conditioning. That's how we come to understand who we are. That's how we come to understand the truth. That's how the truth is revealed to us, by looking at our own conditioning, realizing that we have been conditioned by our society to think a certain way. So we manifest the reality that they want to see manifested. And then through doing that, throughout that process, we start to understand our connection to all things, our environment. We start respecting our environment. And through these two dynamics, we break the chains that the earth is tethered to. We break out of the prison, the collective prison. We start to dissolve the chains that the earth is wrapped in, that we have placed on the earth through our ignorance. So the problem is, we don't care. That's the problem. We don't care. We don't care enough to pick up that book. We don't care enough to look into things ourselves. We don't care enough to think for ourselves. We don't care enough to exercise common sense. We just go with what everyone else is doing. We just listen to everybody else, and they're telling us how to live. And we're saying, okay, because we've been trained that way. We don't care. We don't care about what is going on inside or around us. We don't care about ourselves, our kids, our wives, our husbands, our parents, our so-called friends, our fellow human beings, the ones we say we love. We don't care about the pain and suffering of other beings as long as it does not concern us. We don't care about what is happening in our own country or other countries. We don't care about our brothers and sisters who we walk amongst every single day. We have very little to no care for animal and plant life, hardly any care for the earth. We don't care about freedom, love, compassion, connection, honesty, openness, integrity, nature, the world, the universe, or the truth. We don't really care about clean water, pure air, basic human rights, psychology, philosophy, natural law, ancient traditions, real science and spirituality, true principles, morality, or what it means to be truly alive. We just don't really care. Perhaps we want to care, but we have no idea where to start. And when we do make an effort to start caring, society has preset 1,000 boxes for our care to land in to make us feel like we are actually doing something good in the world, when in fact, we most likely are not. And this is the truth. This is where we're at as a whole, as a species. Most people don't give a shit. And that's why we are enslaved. And this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. These pictures are self-explanatory. Just look around. Our Earth is imprisoned because our mind's imprisoned, because our brain is chained up and locked tight by the control system, because we don't care. We don't care enough to do something about it. We don't care to look into it. We don't care that we're being censored. Some of us do. I do. And some of us do. But most people don't. They're indifferent. They don't give a shit. It's selfish, low-level care that people are exercising. They don't care that we wear masks all day and we just pretend like we're happy. They don't care that we're all sleeping. We're all sheep, just doing whatever society wants us to do. They don't care that we're selling our souls to our jobs, selling our souls and our lives to the machine, integrating ourselves with the machine right here, becoming robots that they want us to become, treating our kids like shit, living through our kids, exploiting our children, injecting them with garbage. This is how we end up like this. This is how we end up like this. This right here, the mainstream education system, all of it, giving our power over to authority figures. It's not going to turn out good. If we don't start caring, it's not going to turn out good. It already hasn't turned out good, and we're not in a good place right now. But it's only going to get worse if we don't start doing something about this and start truly caring and integrating true care. And this is our planet. This is our planet. And soon you won't even be able to see the Earth anymore. It'll just be one giant prison with no windows, no doors, no way out. And believe it or not, that's where we're headed. And we're almost there unless we start really giving a shit, looking around, looking at ourselves, and giving a shit about what's happening and taking action. The destruction of care. Chris Hedges said, "We now live in a nation where doctors destroy health, lawyers destroy justice, universities destroy knowledge, governments destroy freedom, the press destroys information, religion destroys morals, and our banks destroy the economy. This is inverted care." I'll get into what that means in the next few slides. Inverted and incomplete care. Developing care is a natural process for human beings when they are allowed and allow themselves to cultivate it. And when I say allowed, I mean in childhood. When a human being is allowed to cultivate their own care and authenticity and allowed to be a spontaneous, free, curious human being, care develops naturally, just like digestion happens naturally. Unfortunately, if you live on planet Earth, you probably live in a society which works both to undermine and cut out your care. The control system, the satanic monster pulling the strings behind most, if not all, societies, manipulates, distorts, and inverts care by controlling what we see and hear, therefore, how we think and act. It teaches us that hate and fear are love and compassion. The control system does not want human beings living and expressing true care, only inverted and incomplete care. Because if we know who we are, they can't control us. No one can control us if we know who we are. People who act in inverted and or incomplete care may have every intention of helping themselves or others, but internally it is a fear-based emotional or automated response causing them to act in a conditioned fashion to feed a broken system. It does not matter how caring our intentions are if our actions are not in alignment with our intentions. So your intentions don't matter if your actions are not in alignment with those intentions. If you have good intentions, but you are acting badly and you are behaving immorally, then your intentions don't matter. Throw them out. They don't matter. So this mom right here, her intentions are probably really good. She probably wants the best for her children, and she really wants them to succeed in life, and she wants them to grow up and be healthy and caring and loving, but she puts muzzles on them. It's inverted care. So through her actions, she's not exercising true care for her children. She's exercising inverted care. She's following orders that have been barked at her and told to her by her news channels and by her medical corporations and by her government. And she's blindly obeying the orders and imposing those orders on her own children. Therefore, she's not exercising true love and true care for her children. She's exercising inverted care. It's a fear-based response. So she doesn't know, because she's brainwashed, that she's actually hurting her children instead of caring for her children. She's hurting her children by doing this. So the first form of care that we're going to get into is incomplete care. I've told you a little bit of what true care implies, and inverted care is not care at all, and we're going to get into that. Incomplete care is an expression of care which has not been holistically developed. It is a low-level care which lacks the necessary elements required to be defined as true care. It is a piece of care which lacks the spiritual and psychological components necessary to expand and become all-encompassing and complete. Incomplete care is a care which does not have the best interest at heart regarding the situations, environments, and entities it is being generated towards. Incomplete care is myopic, it's narrow, it's not holistic, it's not well-rounded, and fails to take into account the bigger picture. The reason for this is the individuals acting in incomplete care have little to no true self-awareness. Self-awareness has everything to do with true care. If you don't have self-awareness, chances are you are acting in either inverted or incomplete care. So your care is fragmented. If you don't know who you are, your care is most likely fragmented. In other words, they do not know who they are. If a human being does not know who they are, they cannot know who others are, and consequently, they cannot harness true care. True care comes from understanding who we are. True care comes from knowing thyself. That's where all knowledge comes from. The fountain of knowledge is within. When you read a book, you watch this presentation, you listen to a podcast, you're just remembering who you are, just becoming more and more aware. That's it. Human beings operating on this level of consciousness generally think and act in terms of separation. They have no idea the connection they have to everything. Incomplete care is a natural derivative of ignorance and fear. Ignorance due to not having the knowledge and understanding necessary to truly care. True care would require the individual to understand who they are beyond all social conditioning, beyond all conditioning. Fear due to not understanding one's interconnectedness to all things and other dynamics such as death. Death must be understood to know yourself. When we are only living to survive, we lose sight of who we are and become blinded and consumed by irrational fears and external circumstances. Thus, the care we embody is incomplete. Here are some examples of incomplete care. Just feeding the body anything or taking prescription medicine to keep it alive is not really caring for one's own health. It's not. Exercising excessively to fill a void or attempt to embody an unrealistic mental construct or image, or fixating on the body, or in psychological terms, there's armoring. Armoring means to cover oneself up. So if you're exercising excessively to achieve a certain mental image or a certain body image, armoring is to keep other people from seeing you and to keep yourself from seeing you. It's a defense mechanism. Some more examples of incomplete care and inverted care are pretending to be what society wants us to be, sending our children through mainstream education systems, attempting to live through our children, exploiting our children, following the orders of government, the news, and everyone else besides ourselves, not using our own minds and hearts before making decisions, using certain products without being mindful of source and ingredients. That's big. Staying in toxic relationships because we are fearful and attached. And most people in relationships, they say, I love you, when that love is not actually love. For most people, it's just attachment. You're not really loving towards that individual. You're just attached to them. You can't live without them because you don't know who you are and you have no self-love or self-care. You need somebody else to care for you. And that's the paradigm that we're in. That's the mental prison that we're in. being who others want us to be, staying in jobs we know are wrong and harmful to ourselves and others for a paycheck, following orders blindly for a paycheck, doing what we are told without question, accepting everything as it is and taking no action to help set things right, allowing the system to put what they think is right into our bodies, attempting to give away our self-responsibility, our power, and this is all going into inverted care right here. Allowing others to rule over and control us, not standing up for ourselves and our rights, not serving truth, and helping to establish freedom. All these are forms of incomplete care or straight up inverted care. And here's some pictures to depict inverted and incomplete care. Just eating what you want and not questioning where that food is coming from, putting whatever we want to onto our bodies, whatever makes us look good, look pretty, armoring, sending our kids off to school because society says, send your kids to school, so they can grow up and be successful robots, making money, worrying about money. And these are all forms of incomplete and largely inverted care. So here we go, inverted care. Inverted care is the opposite of true care. It is care turned on its head. Inverted care often disguises itself as care to deceive the masses into relating true care with whatever the system has replaced it with, like this billboard, Trusted Cancer Care, Sacred Heart Cancer Center. I mean, are you serious? It's not caring at all. This isn't caring. This has nothing to do with care. And this is a classic inversion that you see every single day. Inverted care is the most common form of so-called care amongst us. It is actually fear, conformity, submission, insecurity, envy, self-loathing, hatred, toxic projection, immoral behavior, and other fear-based states and actions disguised as care. The control system has slowly introduced concepts and ideas which they deem to be caring when they have nothing to do with care, but everything to do with fulfilling their dark agenda to keep us further away from understanding who we are and our ability to exercise true care. There's another inversion. Let me get some plastic surgery. Let me alter my appearance with plastic surgery to make myself appear to be more beautiful, more worthy, more successful. I mean, it's a classic form of inverted care right there. The belief in authority/government is one widely accepted form of inverted care. For example, when we give our energy to a corrupted system, we may think we are doing the right thing when in actuality we are propagating and condoning slavery. Or when we attempt to make others conform as we do to an immoral system, we are acting as mini tyrants who defend, promote, and push slavery. It seems caring only because we have been conditioned to believe it is. Therefore, what on the outside may appear to be care is actually carelessness. It is an empty shell labeled care where none exists. And that's it. That's it. The belief in authority/government is the most monstrous and diabolical form of inverted care on the planet. Oh, looky here. Some humans just at the voting booth, just voting their souls away. I care about my life and the lives of others. That's why I vote for a master to rule over all of us. Makes sense. We really need a better master running our lives. I care so much. Oh, that's heartwarming. That's so compassionate of you. I'm not responsible for my own life. The people in government are. They really care about us. I care about my children and family. That is why I appoint a master to rule us. Real caring, y'all. Incomplete and inverted care as sustenance, as a fuel source. The system of control takes our energy and uses it as a fuel source. Like food, it devours the energy of fear, worry, shame, guilt, anxiety, hatred, destructive anger, and all other low vibratory states one can express. And I just want to elucidate really quick on the destructive anger aspect. I'm not saying anger is bad. You've obviously seen me in a pretty angry state throughout this presentation, and you will continue to do so. I am not emitting destructive anger. I am emitting healthy, constructive anger, transmuted anger. It's feeling anger all the way through and using it. Instead of allowing anger to burn you alive, you now harness the flame. This is why it is important for the dark sorcerers at the top, to cut out true care, distort it, and feed it back to us under the guise of care. They provide us with their definition of care and convince us it's the real thing, and we fucking buy it. As the conditioning sets in, the care we express becomes fear masquerading as care. Much of society today is filled with concepts which seem caring, but if you break them down or actually look at them, they are really either the opposite or a form of incomplete care to keep us forever resonating on a low energetic frequency. They need us operating on low energetic frequencies so we can be controlled and so they can feed off of that low vibratory energy. And this is a great depiction of what the archons look like. These beings that are said to live in the fourth dimension or another dimension. They live right along with us and they operate through certain humans. And now that's not the topic of this presentation. I'm just planting the seed. You should look into that yourself. It's a very important topic and it makes a lot of sense when you start actually looking at it. It might be above your head. Well, go look at it anyways. And here we have humanity. You see all these individuals here, and then it's the energy passing through them going into certain systems like the mainstream news outlets, government, the New Age movement, scientism, science, mainstream science, money, the artificial money construct, believing that money is so important, actually thinking that it's a real tangible wealth. And then organized religion, which does nothing but imprisons the mind and creates more separation. So when I give my energy to, for instance, the New Age movement, I'm making the movement larger, I'm feeding the construct, and I'm breathing life into it, but I'm also giving my energy to the Leviathan behind all of it, the mastermind that's actually creating all of these distractions, creating all of these dynamics to keep us enslaved, to keep us just looking at these things and not this. These are just screens blocking our vision to this. And I'm not saying the beings that exist in this world, human or not, look like this, but this is a good depiction. It's a symbol to relay a message to you. And then here we are in the circle. By giving our energy to these systems and thinking that they're actually real, we breathe life into them, we make them real, and enslave ourselves. Now I'm briefly going to touch on what natural law is. This is so important to understand. And before I even get into this, I want to refer you to Mark Passio's work. Go check out www.whatonearthishappening.com and go to Mark Passio's 9-hour presentation of natural law. It's probably the most important presentation that you can ever watch on the face of the planet. Natural law must be understood to embody true care. Samuel Adams said, "The natural liberty of man is to be free from any superior power on earth and not be under the authority of man, but only to have the law of nature for his rule." And how right he was. Natural law is a set of universal, inherent, objective, non-man-made, eternal, and immutable conditions which govern the consequences of the behaviors of beings with the capacity for understanding the difference between harmful and non-harmful behavior. I'm going to say that one more time. Natural law is a set of universal, inherent, objective, non-man-made, eternal, and immutable conditions which govern the consequences of the behaviors of beings with the capacity for understanding the difference between harmful and non-harmful behavior. The understanding of natural law is centered upon bringing our own conscience into alignment with objective morality. This means definitively knowing which behaviors are right because they do not cause harm to other sentient beings, and which behaviors are wrong because they do cause harm to other sentient beings. People who truly care understand natural law. When human beings collectively live in harmony with natural law and are therefore exercising moral behavior, they become and remain free. When human beings collectively live in opposition to natural law and are therefore exercising immoral behavior, they become and remain enslaved. This dynamic of natural law can be referred to as the law of freedom. As morality increases, freedom increases. As morality declines, freedom declines. Developing true care. So developing true care, this is the most important thing one must understand to embody what true care is and to start the process of truly caring for yourself and others. It's to understand that we are infinite consciousness or awareness having a temporary experience as a human being. That's what we are. You can call it whatever you'd like. I prefer to call it infinite consciousness. You can say you're an infinite being. You can say you're an extension of God, because it's all true. The words aren't true, but it's the truth beyond vocabulary, beyond the physical. We are infinite consciousness or infinite awareness having a temporary experience as a human being. Understanding this dynamic right here, you take your power back. You're no longer the little me that you thought you were. You're no longer Joe Schmo that works for the factory and has 4 kids and, likes football and is whatever. You're no longer your identities. You are an infinite, limitless being. You're not a limited physical body. This is one of the most important and occulted pieces of knowledge that we can come to understand. And really quick, to define what occult means, OCCULT, it means hidden. It just means hidden. So this is one of the most important and hidden pieces of knowledge that we can come to understand. It has been purposely hidden from us so we don't know who we are. That's the number one thing that the control system does not want us to understand is who we are. Because if we know who we are, we can't be controlled. Without understanding this eternal truth, it is difficult for a human being to exercise and embody true care. When operating under the limiting illusion of separation, we inevitably breed strife, struggle, suffering, and chaos. To break out of this conditioning, we merge back into what we are at our core, which is an infinite being, infinite consciousness. We must realize our thoughts have not been our own. They have been carefully planted into our minds and grown into full-fledged belief systems we have unconsciously been living by. We have accepted the standards society has set for us as absolute truth. We have not even been aware that this is what we have been doing. We must uproot these false concepts and beliefs. To do this, we must become aware of them immediately and allow them to dissipate. See them for what they are, false belief systems, and let them go. Then go take in knowledge about who we really are and how this reality really works. And this takes us looking at our own conditioning, looking at our thoughts, looking at our programs, realizing that we have been programmed. And you got to care to be able to do that. You got to have some care to be able to actually look at yourself. I want to understand myself. I want to understand why I operate the way I do. I want to understand why I think the way I do, how I act the way I do, why I dress the way I do, why I attract people that I do into my life. These are the questions that we have to ask ourselves to develop true care. We must understand the term care is abused in this society, as I've covered. And rarely when society uses the term does it correlate with something that is truly caring. They hijack words and invert them, like in George Orwell's novel 1984, Freedom is Slavery. Ingsoc, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. And that is the world we live in right there. This is where we're at. Most people believe this unconsciously. In their actions, they embody this. They abide to this. They live by this. It's insanity, but it's the truth. So we have to dissolve this slogan. We have to dissolve this within ourselves. We have to first see that we've been operating through these types of conditions, through inverted care, through inversions. We have to be willing to admit to ourselves that we've been living this way and forgive ourselves. It's called being purified by fire, walking the fires of hell to reach heaven, to reach your true self, to reach your true care, to reach that love that's dormant inside of you, to activate the DNA, to become that superhero, that superhuman. And there is such thing. There is such thing. Initiation, the path to care. The first steps we must take to come into alignment with true care are as follows. Number 1, stop lying, especially to yourself. Number 2, stop pretending, cognitive dissonance. Number 3, learn how to think, the trivium process. Number 4, live in the present moment, the only time there is. And number 5, activate the physical body. Let's get into what these mean. So the first step to initiation is to stop lying. The first step to initiation, to understand truth and to integrate true care. The first step to activating true care is to be completely honest with ourselves. Until this happens, we cannot tell the truth to others, since we cannot give to someone something we ourselves do not have. This takes us building the courage to really look at ourselves and the world around us and to be realistic about where we as individuals are at and where humanity is at as a species. In this image, he's saying, we have met the enemy and he is us. We have to stop lying to ourselves and we have to realize this. We are our worst enemy. We are our only enemy. Until we can come to that fact and realization, we cannot see who the true enemy is. When we're blinded by our own facade and the lies that we tell ourselves, we cannot see who the enemy is. As long as we're lying to ourselves, we can never be free. Plain and simple. As long as we're lying to ourselves, we cannot truly care about ourselves. We cannot truly love ourselves, and therefore we cannot express something that we do not ourselves have. So if we say we love our family, we say we love our friends, we say we love animals or whatever, we're lying if we don't know who we are. We're lying if we are lying to ourselves about what reality is, who we are. Stop pretending. Number 2. To stop pretending means to acknowledge that the world is as it actually is, instead of falsely imagining it to already be how you prefer or imagine it to be, because your imagined version of the world is far more comfortable for you to accept. We have been playing as actors too long in this game of life, and it is time to reach inside and grab hold of our authenticity. We got to stop pretending like everything's all right. We got to stop pretending that we are something that we're not. And this image is portraying our minds being controlled. I mean, our mind is controlled, pretending to be what the puppet master wants us to be. That's what this image portrays. And as long as you're pretending, you're not in control of your own mind. As long as you're playing pretend in this world, pretending like you actually love what you do in your job, or pretending like you're actually a good person when you're not, pretending like you're all these things that you're not, freedom cannot be established, true care cannot be embodied, and you are actively devolving in your own humanity. Learn how to think. Number 3. So learning how to think. When we see ourselves in the world for how it is, we can begin to determine what we are going to start doing to help alleviate the chaos. This requires us to learn how to think. The method to come to discover truth is called the trivium process. Trivium comes from the Latin tria, 3, and via, path. So 3 path, it means 3 path. It is grammar, logic, rhetoric, and or knowledge, understanding, wisdom. And when I say chaos, I'm talking about the evil and corrupted chaos that runs rampant in this world. So this is the trivium process here. The 3 path. The classical way is grammar, logic, rhetoric. And what this means is you're absorbing knowledge, taking in knowledge, understanding said knowledge, and then applying that knowledge, acquiring the knowledge, absorbing that knowledge, and then you're coming to understanding about that knowledge, integrating that knowledge integration through understanding, and then the application of the knowledge through wisdom, and then taking action on that knowledge, which is what ultimately wisdom implies. What wisdom is taking the action on said knowledge through understanding that knowledge, and then helping other people to come to understandings within themselves by providing them certain knowledge. And the modern version of the trivium is input, processing, output, like a computer. Very much, the body is a lot like a computer. You input information, the computer process the information, and then output on the screen. Just like we take in knowledge, we process it, and then with the knowledge that we have, or the lack of knowledge that we have, we output the effect on the screen of life. We manifest it in life. So we take in knowledge, or we are operating through ignorance. So it works on the reverse as well. If we lack the knowledge through ignorance, we don't have the knowledge, we don't have any understanding, so we're confused, we're in a state of confusion, and therefore how we act is chaotically. We're probably control freaks, we're trying to gain power over each other, we're thinking that we're separate, we're in survival mode, etc. And the consequence of this is slavery. But if you do have the knowledge, and you have understanding of that knowledge, then you have true wisdom, and then you act in wisdom, and the result of acting in wisdom through truth is freedom. So it has everything to do with the available information. Available information has everything to do with the decision-making processes, because if you don't have the available information, your decision-making is skewed. It's not as holistic as it could be. If I know what's happening, then I can make a proper decision, and that's going to influence my behavior and how I behave in my day-to-day life, and then my manifested reality. So if I don't have any available information or true information, then I can't make proper decisions because I don't know what it means to live or anything. I don't have true information. Therefore, my behavior is largely dictated by the people that I'm following and external circumstances. And therefore, my manifested reality is slavery. Live in the present moment. To develop true care, we must learn to live in the moment. Living in the moment is understanding that there is no such thing as time. Time is a man-made construct largely designed to keep humanity locked mentally into a prison of past and future. If we are stuck somewhere psychologically in the past or future, we cannot possibly live in the moment, the only time there is. The present moment is where all future circumstances are manifested from. Let me say that one more time. The present moment, this moment, the now moment, is where all future circumstances are manifested from. Living in the past results in creating a future which produces the same effects or manifestations as the past, with apparently different features. So if you're living psychologically in the past, and you're always dwelling on the past, then you're going to create inevitably a future which is there to provide you with the same lessons as the past. Since you can't see it, you're going to manifest the same effects, the same results as you did in your past, because you are stuck mentally in the past. This is how the principle of mentalism works in natural law. The all is mind, everything is mental. Everything starts in the mind. What we give power to in the mind becomes reality. This is a truth principle. So here is an image of a young child in nature, living in the moment, not lost in thought, not lost somewhere else psychologically, in the moment, spontaneous, curious, and hungry for knowledge. As children, we had it. We had that present moment awareness until the system comes in and attempts to suck us dry of our spiritual essence and who we are. This is what we have to come back to. We have to come back to this childlike state. We have to reclaim our childlike wonder, our imaginative capacities to be able to create a future, a bright future of freedom. Until we understand that the moment is all there is, we can't possibly create a world of freedom because we're somewhere else. We're never living in the moment. We don't know what it means to truly be alive. And in this picture, we have an image of a man or a woman doing Tai Chi, a great meditative art, and also a great self-defense practice. And the last initiatory step we must take to embody true care and truth is activate the physical body. The mind and body are inextricably connected. Keenness and clarity of mind is directly harnessed through physical activity and care for the physical structure. Physical fluency and internal strength is necessary for awareness to move freely through the body/mind with relative ease. Activating the physical body is also vitally important for self-knowledge. An obstructed internal world leads to all sorts of psychological impediments. We work to create and maintain a clear physical structure so we can listen to our bodies and watch our thoughts more effectively and efficiently. We build a solid foundation physically by taking in the right sustenance that resonates with our bodies. We need to be taking in clean, nutrient-dense foods whenever possible, as well as pure water. Supplementation is also something I greatly suggest in this modern world. With environmental pollutants at an all-time high and garbage falling from our sky, there are supplements we can take regularly to strengthen our internal world. Moreover, real-world changes always require physical work. It is a lethal fallacy to think someone else is going to act for us. This always leads to slavery. No one is coming to save you. We must put in the physical work if we are to see our reality manifest the way we want it to. The goal of the truly caring truth warrior is to create, establish, and maintain a clear, fluent physical structure for consciousness to operate through, for God to operate through, if you want to use that term. That's the goal. So we keep our body clear of imbalances and we keep it fluent, operating at an optimal level, functioning at an optimal level, so consciousness can freely flow through it. So here's an image of fruits and vegetables, and here's an image of myself training martial arts with my instructor. So activating physical body, eating and drinking properly, and exercising regularly, exercising for health, exercising to be able to function properly in the world, to function optimally in the world. Not only a clear mind, but a clear physical body. And this is what I thought was a great image to depict all of this. A truth warrior. I don't know this person individually, but what this symbolizes to me is a badass human being. She's in the lotus position with a rifle in her hands. To me, this is the embodiment of the self-defense and non-aggression principle, the masculine and feminine polarities that we have to balance within our own psyches and with our own structures. The fear of true care. Killing care for security. We live in a society where most humans live in a perpetual state of fear. The root of all fear is the fear of death. We have been thoroughly conditioned to fear death to the extent where we have and continue to throw away our natural rights for the sake of security. The word security comes from the Latin securus. Securus comes from the Latin prefix se, without, and cura, care. So, security literally translates to be without care. Turn in your weapons. The government will take care of you. Right. Security is an illusion. It is a construct created to cut out our hearts. When the system feeds us a line of bullshit saying it is for your security, they are quite literally saying, we are doing this because you don't care. You don't care that we're doing this. What we need to be securous about is security itself. The only true security in this world is psychological, through enough self-knowledge. All other forms of security are illusions. So the only true understanding that we can have about this world comes through self-knowledge. We have to know ourselves. That's the only security, if you want to use that term, security that we can actually have. It's psychological. Physical security, there's no such thing. The Nazis had a phrase which covered all abuses by the state, Führer Sicherheit. My German's not very good, which translates to, it's for your safety. Every time. That's their classic phrase they use. Every government, every control system, every dictatorship. It's for your security. It's for your safety. It's for your security. And most humans, what do? They're programmed in the fear of death. So they just bend over for it. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, thank you, state. Thank you. Big bad people are going to come steal my kids and kill me and take me away if I don't, follow my orders and do whatever you say. And that's where most people are at. That's why we're losing our rights. The escape from freedom. Along with security is the irrational fear of freedom. This fear is much less obvious. Through our stronghold attachments to the belief in security, we not only extinguish our care, but we sacrifice our freedom. To think one can have physical security by taking measures dictated by the authorities, the so-called authorities, while simultaneously existing in a state of freedom, is a lethal fallacy. One more time. To think one can have physical security by taking measures dictated by the authorities while simultaneously existing in a state of freedom is a lethal, deadly fallacy. We sacrifice what we are at our core when we cling to the belief in security. We murder our true selves for something truly unreal. We hand over our lives to someone else. And this is the state most of humanity is in. They are locked behind prison bars, and the prison bars are the keys themselves. But we just choose not to look at it. We just choose to point fingers at everybody else. We just choose to stay distracted. We just choose to focus on things that don't matter. And when we do finally realize and open our eyes and wake up and see that the bars are keys, most people just throw them out. They'll pretend like those keys don't even exist. That's the thing about humans and the human mind and the ego. That's the thing about the ego. The hardened, calcified ego that's stuck in separation is that it doesn't want freedom. It lives a certain way and operates through a certain way for long enough, and it becomes hardened and it becomes comfortable there. So a lot of people are bitching and moaning and griping and complaining about everything all the time. And as soon as you say, here's the key, it's right inside of you, or here's a solution, here's a tool that you can use to discover the key inside of yourself, they say, fuck off. I don't want that key. What do you mean? What do you mean? So it's just on their face, people want freedom. On their face, people want love and all of these things that they say they want. But through their actions, which is the only thing that really matters, through their actions, they show the opposite. So people are afraid of freedom because they believe in authority. Ultimately, it's because people believe in authority. Believing in authority is diametrically opposed to being in a free state, being in a state of freedom. So freedom challenges the belief in authority, and therefore people escape from freedom. Self-forgiveness. We must forgive ourselves of our past and how we have been operating in this world into the present. This is done through aligning right thoughts and actions. Ultimately, forgiveness is done through action. It eventually becomes a state of being or a permanent operating condition. So forgiveness is an action. It is something that you live. We have to live in forgiveness. Forgiveness directly comes from living in the moment, and how you forgive yourself is you stop lying to yourself and you stop pretending to be something that you're not. That's forgiveness. It's saying, I know I fucked up in the past. I know I've been giving my energy to immoral systems. I know I've been behaving badly in my day-to-day life. Admitting that I've been wrong, admitting that I've been operating under straight societal conditioning, and forgiving yourself for that. It's saying, it's looking at it, seeing it, and allowing it to dissipate and acting in a healthy and moral way. It's living righteously. It's living truly. It's truly caring about yourself. That's the only way you can break the chains that are wrapped around your wrists and ankles and mouth and fucking throat and brain. The only way is to forgive yourself. But you have to recognize that there are things happening inside of you that are largely holding you back from caring about yourself and others, and are actually propagating the problem. This has to be known. This has to be integrated. This has to be understood. Self-forgiveness is the only path to understanding how to forgive in general. If we are actively learning and growing from our own mistakes and experiences in life, we can start to feel the connection to others' mistakes and experiences. This is what forgiveness is all about. This is not to say everyone deserves to be forgiven. There are psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists, and just straight up evil beings in this world which only use the energy of forgiveness to their advantage, to feed their agenda, to perpetuate control and chaos and slavery. Also, forgiving everybody no matter what is a sure way to never take action to stop anyone or group from doing harm. We must not give any energy to corrupted people, places, or systems, and this includes the loving energy of forgiveness. So what we give our energy to in this regard, when we are loving the enemy in the sense of like just forgiving them, just endlessly forgiving them, allowing them to perpetuate whatever they're perpetuating, saying, oh, that's why they're here. They're here for this reason. That keeps us from actually taking action in our life. That keeps us from feeling anger, the sacred gift of anger. That keeps us from understanding what's actually taking place. That keeps us from penetrating into the truth of things. So we must not just forgive everybody blindly and endlessly because it feels good. And so we don't feel certain emotions that are triggered from seeing reality for what it is. We have to see reality for what it is. That's how you truly forgive yourself. That's how you truly forgive other people, seeing them for who they are and not letting them get by with the bullshit that they're getting by on. Exposing the darkness and allowing yourself to live in truth and truly care about yourself is not giving your energy to psychopaths, because they're just going to use it. They're just going to use it to their advantage, eat it up, and invert it and throw it back at you and create more slavery and chaos in the world. Do you really care? Do you care enough to face yourself entirely? Are you willing to look at your own mental state, your own psychology? Will you do whatever it takes to cleanse your psyche of false destructive programs, which only lead to more chaos, more suffering, more drama, more struggle, more strife, less fulfillment, less enjoyment, less freedom, less rights, more control, more tension, more stress, anxiety, and depression? Will you do it and go all the way? Seriously, because this is what it takes to truly integrate oneself into what it means to truly give a shit about what is taking place within and around us, to care about the truth, the only thing that really matters in the entire universe. And the truth is, there is something seriously wrong happening here on our planet, and we are here to help fix it. That is why we are here. If you're watching this video, that's why you're here. Reach inside of yourself, unlock who you are, integrate yourself in true care, start establishing yourself mentally, psychologically, physically, emotionally, looking at your conditioning, looking at your thoughts, looking at your behaviors, and dissipating and dissolving things that don't belong, dissipating and dissolving corrupted and evil tactics that you've absorbed, dissolving the flawed and immoral operating systems that you have been designed to embody through massive amounts of conditioning, through massive amounts of programming. You have to be able to watch that. You have to be able to see that in every single moment. It's not just a 1 or 2 time thing. It is an everyday, nonstop thing that needs to take place within your being if you are to embody true care. But before we can help fix it, we got to look in the mirror. Again, this is the most important factor in awakening. It's the most important dynamic to integrate true care and to truly care. To express true care, we have to look at ourselves and truly care about ourselves. It takes us understanding who we are. It takes us going through the shadows. It takes us stepping into the shadow, facing the shadow, understanding the shadow as a teacher, understanding our suffering as a teacher to bring us to higher levels of awareness, to bring us to higher levels of consciousness. That's what our suffering is. That's what our demons are for. That's what our shadows are for. We have to be willing to look at ourselves and never look away. We're constantly killing our old self and being rebirthed into our new self. And this is through applying the Trivium process. When you gain knowledge, you understand that knowledge, and you come to a new insight, a new realization about who you are and about humanity. When you start seeing the dots connect in the world, that is, you're literally going through a transformation. You're going through a rebirthing process. You are being rebirthed into the moment. That's what a lot of these religions have been talking about for so long. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for a process that happens spiritually, on a spiritual level. That's the process that we all have to go through, like the phoenix. We have to crumble to ashes and rise from the ashes into our higher self, into our new understanding of who we are. So we have to look in the mirror and work to embody who we actually are. Dissolve what doesn't belong. Dissolve the internal factors that don't belong. And embody nothing but truth. As we awaken and grow individually, we must take action to help others to do the same. We are all in this together. We are all inextricably connected. The only way to create a world of freedom is to awaken on an individual level to the truth and start living in harmony with natural law. Once we remember that we are always happening to not only ourselves, but those around us, then we can start to make a difference in the world. If we still believe that someone or something is going to swoop down and save us, which most people unconsciously believe, we are not only dead wrong, but are buying a one-way or possibly eternal way ticket back into a real living hell made by our own hands. So if we still think we're not responsible for our own lives, if we're still trying to shuttle and shove away our responsibility and our freedoms, we're trying to give away our responsibility to other people, we are buying a one-way or eternal way soon, if they get microchips in the body, eternal way, possibly, ticket back into a real living hell constructed by our hands. And the hell that we are in, because heaven and hell is a metaphor for our current state of being right now, not only internally, but externally. So if we are internally embodying hell, we are externally manifesting hell. That's the way this reality works. So if we think somebody else is going to save us through giving our energy and powers away to some other being, if we believe that some religious character or something or someone's going to come save us, we are literally buying our way back right into this realm because we're not facing who we are. We're not taking our power back, and we're not striving to reach that heavenly state and then diving back into hell to help other beings. That's what we have to do. We have to awaken, embody truth, embody true care, and to truly care means to go out and help uplift those around you, around us. Especially if you have this knowledge, we must share this knowledge. We must spread this knowledge. If not, it will not be pretty for us. It's already not pretty for us, but most people can't see it. Well, it's time to wake up and see it. It's time to wake up and see what's going on. This is by caring. We have to care about what's happening. We have to care about ourselves. We have to care about what's going on. To make any change happen in the world, we must care. That takes us stepping through the darkness, walking through the hell, and allowing the fires of hell to purify our soul. The purifying fires of hell, to be carved by fire and to enter the light, a flame warrior, someone who has harnessed and transmuted the flame of anger, the flame of compassion, and the flame of passion, using it and harnessing it for good, to help awaken other people, to help spark a flame and ignite the flame inside other people's hearts. That's what we're here to do. But first we have to walk through the darkness. There's no way around it. Only through. That's the only way through it. Take the step, one step in the right direction. It is a clear mental state, unwavering, focused, passionate, watching our thoughts, then thinking for ourselves. Is this right what I'm about to do? Is it wrong? What is it? Then never stop. It's watching your thoughts and choosing what thoughts you're going to feed and what thoughts you're not going to feed. It takes being aware of your own thoughts so you can now watch your thoughts and then feed the thoughts that are going to be conducive and productive for the evolution of mankind. You don't just feed all these fear thoughts and stuff. When you feed thoughts of fear and thoughts of chaos and thoughts of destruction and thoughts of whatever else, whatever you feed mentally, you inevitably create in your reality. It takes going into ourselves and never allowing anyone to tell us what we can and cannot do with our lives ever again. It takes a spiritual unification, connecting our heart, mind, and guts. Knowledge, understanding, wisdom. Spiritual unification, connecting our heart, mind, and guts. Not just operating straight mentally, not just operating straight in the heart. You have to integrate all three components. Bringing balance into our being, connecting body, mind, and spirit. To be able to walk this earth both grounded and intuitive, objective and spontaneous, direct, raw, and compassionate. As a student and a teacher, a true lover, a philosopher, a lover of wisdom, a lover of truth, a lover of knowledge, a freedom fighter, a balanced, holistically intelligent being, a truth warrior, a truly caring human being. It's what it takes. This is what it takes right here. Asking yourself the important questions, asking yourself the hard questions. The most difficult questions for people to ask because they don't want the answers to these questions because it goes against their beliefs. It goes against their programming. So ask yourself, these are just some examples of questions to ask yourself. Why am I in this career? Did my parents push it on me? Did society persuade me or tell me this is what I needed to do? Was I forced into this position? Do I really enjoy this job? Is it fulfilling? Is it improving my life? How does it affect the life around me, my environment? Again, caring about your environment, understanding your interconnectedness to all things, understanding that you are connected to everything. So therefore, everything that you do has an effect on everything else. Everything that you do ripples throughout the entire universe and then comes back to you. Why am I going to school? Why is school so important? Is what school teaching of true importance? Is school teaching me to care, to connect, to love? Probably not. Most schools do not teach that. Why am I eating this food? What is in this food? Is this food good for my body/mind? And it's the same with drinking liquids or putting anything into your body. Is the government really looking out for my best interest? How about the mainstream news outlets? Politicians, religion, the medical industry, education systems, mainstream science, banks? Is anything in society looking out for my best interest? The answers to all these questions are inside of us. If only we can take a step back and see. More questions. Do my family and friends really care about me, about life, about truth, themselves? Do they really love and care for themselves? What are thoughts? Where did my thoughts come from? Why do I have these thoughts? What is the purpose of thinking? Why do I look at people the way I do? Why do I look at myself the way I do? Who am I? What is my relation to others, to life? What motivates me to do the things that I do? Is there something more useful, more beneficial I could be doing with my time? What is time? What am I doing here in this moment? Why am I on this planet? Very important question. What is death? What does it mean to die? Can we die? What happens after death? What is life? What does it mean to live? Am I really living? How have I been living up to this moment? What am I doing with my life? This question needs to be asked until it's properly answered. These questions, especially these last 3 questions, need to be asked until they are properly answered. We have to have the courage to actually be able to face the answers to these questions, because we know what the answer is. Oh yeah, we know the answer to these questions. Jiddu Krishnamurti, the great teacher and philosopher, said, "In oneself lies the whole world, and if you know how to look and learn, the door is there and the key is in your hand. Nobody on earth can give you either the key or the door to open except yourself." The truth warrior, the truly caring human being. We have to understand that this is a nonstop process. To truly care means to act nonstop in truth, unwaveringly and focused at all times as much as possible. We don't stop. We don't just absorb knowledge for a year and then say, oh, I know everything. I know what to do now. I'm a caring person. I know the system. I know the conspiracies happening. No, it's never ending. It's becoming aware of yourself. It's living in awareness. And when you do get captivated by the physical experience, when you do get captivated by certain habits and certain rituals and certain things that you once did or conditioning, you watch it, you see it, and you snap out of it. You allow it to dissolve. It's time to care in this world, people. It's time to care. We're enslaved because we don't care. Not enough of us are standing up for our rights. Not enough of us care to stand up for our rights. And when we do, we go out and we express it the wrong way because we don't know what we actually have to do to dissolve the system, to dissolve the government. We have to withdraw our power from it. We have to withdraw our energy from it. It's not conforming. It's not doing what the system wants us to do. It's not signing up for government. It's not signing up to be an order follower. It's not doing the things that they want you to do. It's withdrawing all your energy from it and knowing your natural rights and knowing natural law. That's the way of the heart warrior. That's the way of the truth warrior. We have to feel what is right deep inside of us, past all conditioning. And then we can truly help one another. Then we can truly understand what it means to help one another. And then we can function properly in the world. Then we can actually be of use in this world. We have to be fully encompassed, versatile human beings. That's what it means to truly care. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching this video.